Hi web leaders, this video is talking about lesson number 3, day 2. So do make sure that you are wearing your web shirt and that as soon as you enter the classroom you go to your 6th grade morning advisory teacher. Don't worry about going to your 8th grade morning advisory because we'll make sure that your attendance is tracked accordingly. As soon as you arrive in your 6th grade morning advisory classroom, you're going to want to be in the classroom engaging with the 6th grade students, having conversations with them, talking with them, really engaging as much as you possibly can. And remember that it's really important to them, even if it seems small. Once you're in the classroom, you're also going to want to make sure that the classroom is set up for your lesson before the bell rings. So you'll notice that the setup is actually very similar to yesterday's setup. So you're going to want to make sure that the middle of the classroom is free of desks, chairs. In this case, you want it to be free and clear of everything. So you want that space so that everyone can stand in the middle. You're also going to have a balloon in your supply bag and a ball of yarn. And do make sure that these things are accessible to you. The balloon, you are going to want to have that blown up. You may want to do that before the bell rings. It might be a little bit easier and it might save you time. So as soon as the bell rings, you're going to listen to the announcements, modeling appropriate behavior, and then after the announcements, you're going to start the activity. Now, before you start the yarn activity, you're going to want to have the group review what you did yesterday. So make sure that they are giving you answers about what happened yesterday. The fact that they played the activity Penny Squeeze Relay. The fact that they were trying to work well as a team. All of these things you're going to want to make sure that they review and get lots of people involved in that discussion. After a couple of minutes of discussion, you're going to then ask them to all be standing in a circle in the middle of the classroom, and you're going to have them pretty close to each other, shoulder to shoulder. You're then going to have one web leader grab this, a ball of yarn, and the person will hold the end of it, wrap it around once around their hand, and then pass the ball of yarn to a student across from them in the circle. That student will then do the same thing, wrap the yarn once around their hand and then pass the ball of yarn to another person across from them. And each person is going to have the yarn, and you want each person to get the yarn twice. So you will have the yarn wrapped around ultimately 2 times around your hand. And what you're going to notice is as people do this, you're going to have a web that starts forming in the middle of your circle. And you're going to want to make sure that everyone is holding that yarn pretty firmly, pretty tightly, but not to the point of breaking the yarn. But do make sure that it's tight, and you'll see why in a minute. And then as soon as everyone is all set up there, you're going to explain to them that the whole idea is to try to put the balloon that's been blown up, you're going to put it in the middle of that web, and the team is going to try to work together so that they are bouncing the balloon twice in the middle without it falling down through some of the holes in the web. And as soon as you do that twice, then what's going to happen is one person that's part of the team, one person is going to let go of the yarn, and they're just going to drop the yarn and move out of the circle. And then the rest of the circle is going to try to bounce the balloon twice again. And then after they do that, maybe successfully, maybe not, but after they do that, you're going to have another person exit the circle, letting go of the yarn. And then you do this, right, all throughout until you're going to notice that there are going to be a lot of holes and it's going to be really challenging to bounce the balloon. But then everyone drops the yarn ultimately. You're going to make sure that you collect the balloon and collect the yarn. Don't give the yarn to a 6th grade student. You can either, if it's kind of a mess, you can throw it away, or you can put it back in your supply bag. And then you want to make sure to get into a circle of chairs and have a discussion about the activity. Talk with them about what happened, what was it that made you all successful? And the hope is that they will start seeing that in this activity, each member is actually really important to the team. That a team is about a collective group of people working together. So you do want to discuss with them what made you so successful and why is it that each member was so important. You're also going to want to talk with them about what happens when a team member leaves the circle or leaves the group. What occurs with the activity. Then discuss with them, when are there other times in school or in life outside of school that you find yourself in a team, and have lots of people giving you different answers about that. And also talk with them about how they can be a good team member. What can they do? What sort of traits or different characteristics they can have that would make them a good team member. So do make sure to have a really good conversation about this and get everyone involved, even those who might be a little bit quieter. And then after that, you are going to want to reiterate repeat the whole objective of this lesson, that the idea is that every single team member is important, not just one person, not just two, but everyone is important, and that working well with others is crucial, whether we're at home, whether we're at school, or outside of those two places. So make sure that you have maybe 1 or 2 minutes after that discussion. Do put the desks and chairs back in their original places. Make sure the classroom is all set up for period 1. And then what you'll do is the bell will ring. You'll make sure that all the supplies are in the supply bag, but do make sure that you are the last to leave. So give everyone high fives. Do make sure that you're smiling and saying goodbye, and be the last to leave. This time around, do make sure that your supply bags go to either the web facilitators or go to the web box in the main office. So I hope that this video has been helpful in reviewing day number 2. If you have any questions, let us know.